Have you ever seen someone ruin their own life in a single sentence? My roommate Jake thought he was the smartest guy in our dorm. This dude would brag about how he never had to study because he could just wing every test and still get better grades than everyone else. He'd walk around our floor acting like he was too cool for the rest of us nerds who actually did homework. Our economics professor, Dr. Martinez, was notorious for his final exam. Everyone knew it was worth 60% of your grade and could make or break your semester. The guy had a strict no-makeup policy too. Miss the final, get an F in the class. 2 weeks before the exam, Jake started his usual routine. While I was pulling all-nighters in the library, he was playing video games and ordering pizza at 2 a.m. When I asked if he was going to study, he just laughed and said the test would be easy because he'd been paying attention in class. The thing is, Jake had been skipping class for weeks. I knew because we walked to economics together every Tuesday and Thursday, and he'd always find some excuse to bail at the last minute. Either his stomach hurt, or he had to call his mom, or some other random thing. The night before the final, I was reviewing my notes for the 5th time when Jake strolled into our room whistling. He saw my textbooks spread everywhere and shook his head. "Dude, you're stressing over nothing. I've got this whole thing figured out." I looked up from my flashcards. "What do you mean figured out?" That's when Jake pulled out his phone and showed me something that made my stomach drop. He'd found Dr. Martinez's old exams posted on some sketchy website. Not just similar questions, but the exact same test from 3 years ago, complete with answer key. "I'm gonna memorize these answers tonight and cruise through tomorrow," he said, grinning like he'd just solved world hunger. I tried to warn him. "Jake, what if it's not the same test? What if he changed the questions?" He waved me off. "Professors are lazy. They reuse everything. Trust me." The next morning, Jake walked into that exam room like he owned the place. He even had the nerve to wink at me as we sat down. Dr. Martinez handed out the test papers, and I watched Jake's face go from confident to confused to completely panicked in about 30 seconds. It wasn't the same test, not even close. While I worked through questions about supply and demand curves that we'd actually covered in class, Jake just sat there staring at his paper. I could see him frantically trying to remember anything from the lectures he'd skipped, but it was hopeless. After an hour, he raised his hand. Dr. Martinez walked over and Jake said the words that destroyed everything. "Professor, I think you gave me the wrong test. This doesn't match the answer key I studied." The entire room went dead silent. Dr. Martinez raised his eyebrows and asked very slowly, "What answer key?" Jake's face turned bright red as he realized what he'd just admitted. I found your old tests online and you studied someone else's answers instead of the actual material?" The whole class was staring now. Jake tried to backtrack, stammering about how he meant something else, but it was too late. Dr. Martinez collected Jake's paper and told him to leave immediately. Not only did Jake fail the final, but Dr. Martinez reported him for academic dishonesty. The dean's office got involved, and Jake ended up failing the entire class. Since it was a required course for his major, he had to repeat his sophomore year.